history of soldiers, airmen, all of that, which would be a huge task. But they did have an expeditionary force, and we can have an expeditionary force in space. And Ahmed is agreed to run general manager as the radio shows, try to have at least one a night that people could tune into. And then Janet has her own that she runs, already one for Ascension Center, one for Stargate to the Cosmos, and whatever else she's promoting at the time to have radio shows, and how she does those. I just want to get mine organized to make sure that we're going forward with, for our artists and our authors and our historians and researchers. And people have all joined all these groups out there for free because they knew I would bring them all together someday. Hopefully, with you three helping me, we can all take a piece of the pie and make it blend together weekly. And so, Ahmad, if you can help us, we'll get with Hugh Charleston and Ken on a military, and that chain of command can reflect on that group as well. And Janet and I'll get with you on alien contact for, I guess Janet wants to keep doing experiencers. It was sort of like I was going with where Kathy Martin came in and helped the UFO business, that they weren't just the nuts and bolts of sightings, but they wanted to talk with C5 or people that have had traumatic experiences or consider themselves abductees or contactees or experiencers. So there's a whole new track of having people discuss or get together at these UFO conferences with therapists, where parapsychology or psychologists came in. Mm-hmm.
I'll get out, try to get out the rest of this week to everybody that's here on tonight. What I've already put together, we can plagiarize. This way we don't have to create it completely from scratch, and everything from chain of commands that have been used and other setups in the space program for real and for not real, and as well as symbols of rank, symbol of organizations within the organization. I've got about 12 or 19, someplace around 19 pages that I'll put together in an email, and I'll get those out to everybody this week, hopefully.
Let me explain something, Ken. I'm a journalist and a publisher and a writer and investigative reporter, and
yes, ma'am.
I don't like the word plagiarize, so I'm going to swap that to a model. To use that in engineering terms, that you have a model that we can use.
Hey, if you can change and not call it playing, I can call it a model.
Yeah.
I don't like that term either.
If you're not calling it playing, I can certainly call it a model. You bet.
Yeah, we'll do model versus plagiarism.
I'll get you all a copy of the model. Did I lose you? Hello.
No. What most people don't realize. What most people don't realize is every business has a chain of command. If it exists as a business, it has a chain of command.
Gotta have it.
Okay, and Amanda is also are helping us, and directors don't make much. As a matter of fact, they're not allowed to make much if it's a corporation and they're directing it. So, a general manager position sounds better. You could pay one of those, but it'd be very hard. But right now we've got directors, but in a company we're not incorporated yet, so that's okay. So we're using all these different words, but we'll get it down where it's organized. And right now, believe it or not, I'm just running the company by myself, but that's for legal terms. But as an organization, we can be unincorporated and forming ACO, use it, the acronym ACE, ACO, whatever. But I've got ACO UFO Association tonight, so people will know that the ACO is for the Allied Command in space, but we also are aware that it's used to pull it up in the military, but we're not trying to fraud anyone. Matter of fact, my specialty was arson, fraud, and subrogation. But you'd have to look those terms up to see. Those were how I was trained in investigations. So we're just trying to get together and say we're going to have a chain of command. We're going to call ourselves the Allied Command Organization, a division of American Communications Online. And then these are radio shows. We're going to have a newsletter and have an organization, and we can put you in a trade organization with the UFO Association, and we will have different patches and stuff. But I have the ACO up on this TGMRCT radio is ACE Folk Life on the top, ACO down. It looks like a UFO banner or a copper, I don't know, it's supposed to be like a flag, they call it. But it's actually stands for UFO, believe it or not. I'll explain
I have to interrupt just a minute here because I'm going to lose my battery. It's on red. So I wanted to say goodnight to everybody and my headset and my phone on the charger. But thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And love and blessings to everybody that have been listening. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you, Dan and Thomas and TJ. And much love and blessings. And aloha from me, Janet Care Lessin.
We're all going to go. Yeah, we're sort of out of time, folks, so we appreciate it, Janet. And she was scared her battery was going to go down, and mine will be too. So thank you, guys. I hope we did okay, folks. And Ken, we look forward to your chain of command and working with us every Friday night on a radio show.
All right.
And general manager is a mad painter. So Ken, just, keep doing what you're doing, and we'll all work together and see where it goes from here, right? That's all we can do.
10-4, roger that.
I think it's off to a good start, and we'll just keep doing what we're doing. And Mad's working on the news magazine or newsletter. Anyway, he's a good graphic artist, and we're going to put some articles in there, and we'll work towards space advocacy and disclosure, so together, right, for Space Force and Space Command. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you,
Ken. All right, y'all have a good evening.
I'll be here next week.
Take care, guys.
Thank you,
Good night,
everybody.
everybody.
Good night.